If you're a hunter, an overlander, a camper, a tailgater, or a contractor, we may have the perfect truck for you.
So today we've got a fantastic build. This is something we've been working on for months. It is the ultimate overland adventure experience. This thing will take you off the grid to where you never need to return back to town. You have every single thing as far as water, electric, dual battery setup, solar panel connectivity. You're also gonna have multiple battery setups so you don't have to worry about dying. You have different types of trickle charging, so this thing will self-sufficiently charge itself so you don't have a dead battery situation. Eric will get into that a whole lot later, into the fine details of all this build. What I want to highlight right now is I just want to highlight the beautiful truck in its glory. So we took a 2024 Toyota Tundra Platinum with the TRD Off-road Package, which is exclusive to the 2024, and that's why we chose this color in this package. The Lunar Rock is one of the most highly coveted colors in the Toyota lineup. So this is a very, very, very recognizable vehicle on the road. We had the Platinum features just because the Platinum is going to give you all the amenities that you would want to have on board without any of the blink switches that would irritate you as far as what am I missing on this vehicle. So with this Platinum, you're going to notice the Lunar Rock, which we already talked about, but you are going to have a standard LED headlight on these Tundras. But with this Platinum on the Limited and above, you're going to have a sequential turn signal as well as an LED DRL running light. Of course, you're going to have the signature black chrome grille. The Platinum series is really cool because it's more urban refined. It's not going to have any chrome or anything like that. Everything's going to be monochromatic, so color matched, or you're going to notice some black gloss fender flares. We took out the Platinum grille and we did add the highly recognizable Toyota Heritage TRD Pro grille. As you can see, so we have two light bars on this vehicle. They are the Baja Design lights. The top is going to be a white S8 20-inch light bar. The bottom is going to be the amber S8 light bar. Of course, moving around on this vehicle, you notice you're going to have your intelligent clearance sonar, which is going to go around with a bird's eye view, front and rear parking sonar. You're going to have lights up top, which Eric will talk about a little bit more on the functionality. But of course, on the Platinum package, why we chose this is the beauty of it. So you have your gloss black fender flares. You're going to notice you have a black 20-inch wheel. This isn't the standard wheel that comes on the Tundra. This is an upgraded wheel that comes with the TRD Off-road Package. So a very, very recognizable satin finished black TRD wheel. It's beautiful. We've wrapped it in the Toyo Open Country tire. It is a 35-inch tire with a more narrow stance for better fuel economy. We did have this vehicle lifted. It was a factory lifted vehicle, so everything from the factory on that lift, as far as your front axle, your upper control arms, your coilovers, your brake lines, your sway bar links, your tie rod connects, all of that's going to be factory spec'd, tightened, and done before sent out to a dealership. What we did is we just put on larger tires on this vehicle. So moving around, you're going to notice on the Platinum package, you will have that monochromatic feature that I was telling you about. You're not going to have any chrome mirror caps. You're not going to have any chrome door handles. You will not have any chrome around the window moldings. It is all gloss black to match your gloss black fender flares. You will have the Platinum body side molding. It's a very recognizable feature on this vehicle because it is gloss black to go with the rest of the vehicle. Opening up the interior of the vehicle, one big thing about this before I go to the back is on the Platinum, you do get a seat extender. So you have a 10-way adjustable driver's seat, which is huge for people like me that are 6 foot more, because long distance travels, you can actually extend the base of your seat to take more pressure off the back of your legs, giving you a more comfortable driving experience. Something I really wanted to point out so I didn't forget, because that is something that we put thought into when making an overlanding vehicle. Coming around, you'll notice the gloss black fender flares. You will have your bedside tailgate release button on the side on the Platinum. That is a limited feature and above, but definitely something we want to have on this build, because if you're ever carrying anything, hunting, whatever it may be, you can always just pop that tailgate, release it just by the push of a button with your elbow without having to drop anything. We did have a manual bed stamp on this. We went with the manual because when you get the TRD Off-road Package, you cannot from the factory get power running boards. Another thing we'll talk about is we didn't want to use power running boards on an overlanding vehicle because you take away from a little bit of the performance when you're off-roading, because when you open the door, they drop down. You may have a rock or a log or something that's going to prevent that board from coming out. So we actually threw on the sleeve frame sliders. These things are great because they have a great surface for a step to get into the truck, where a lot of frame sliders do not give you that ability to get in and out of your vehicle. So this is a dual purpose. It's going to contain the weight of the vehicle, and it's also going to allow you to get in and out with all of your passengers. And on this tailgate, very recognizable because you're going to notice you have a gloss black upper tailgate. You're also going to notice that you have your color matched rear bumper. This is something on a Limited and above. You could have chrome bumper end caps, which a lot of people want to get rid of, which is once again another reason why we chose the Platinum Tundra on this build. Guys, back inside this beautiful vehicle. So a couple things I wanted to point out as far as why we use the Platinum. As you can see, it is a completely beautiful and refined interior. Platinum only comes with the black leather, which this is genuine leather. It is not a Softex. So a really, really nice feature for longevity. With the Platinum, you're also gonna have the signature blue stitching, which is a really, really cool look when contrasting with the exterior in Lunar Rock. I think it's just a great color combination, but that's just my opinion. I would hope that you would agree, but you never know. With the Platinum, you're also gonna have a standard 14-inch screen. On this screen, you're gonna have standard wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity. Of course, this is a TRD Off-road Package Platinum, so you're gonna have a TRD shift knob. You're also gonna have a red TRD start button, and then you will have your aluminum sport pedals on the TRD package. The Platinum package is gonna give you a lot of inside comfort, as well as adding heated seats, ventilated seats, not only in the front, but you will have them in the back passenger seat. The one option that we had added on this is the heads-up display. It's not a standard option on the Platinum, but it is one that you could add. Of course, another standard option on this beautiful vehicle is the panoramic roof above. So it gives you a whole lot more experience when you're inside, keeps you less enclosed, and when you're out camping, you will be able to look up and see a beautiful starlit night. So really, really cool added feature on this vehicle, which comes standard on the Platinum package. Also on the TRD Off-road package, wanted to point out a couple other details as far as why we chose this. When you're gonna be off-roading this vehicle, you're gonna be going through some difficult terrain at times. So with the TRD Off-road package, you get crawl controls, and you will have multi-terrain select with a rear locking differential, which in my opinion, if you're ever going off that beaten path, do not leave home without the off-road package. This is gonna be your insurance to get you anywhere you need to go. A lot of times I would tell someone you can put your grandmother in the driver's seat, activate the crawl controls and the speed, the vehicle will drive your grandmother right up to the cabin and keep you guys all safe and secure. Hope you guys like what you see. Eric will pick up for some more.
Okay, so now that we've gone over the car, now we can talk about the fun stuff that we've done to this vehicle. So for starters, on the outside, as Dustin already mentioned, we have the TRD Pro Heritage grille. We did not add the additional marker lights because this car isn't over 80 inches in width and we don't really need them, and we didn't want to add any more expense or complexity to the vehicle. Obviously, we do have the OEM grille. We do have two fog lights. They are both Baja S8s. The top one is in white. The bottom one is a dual color. It's amber white together combo. So we have the ambers that are wired to the DRLs. So as the DLRs are on, then we'll have the amber glow behind it. And when we actually turn on full brightness, we have an actual amber light bar in full. We have it installed with a Victory 4x4 front bumper inset. This is a cool, it doesn't add the weight of a full front bumper, but it still gives you additional ground clearance and also gives you the ability to put a nice winch and a light bar on the truck. So Victory does, this additional light bar cover that you're looking at here is custom made. The one that Victory sells included with the bumper has the Victory logo, and we wanted our Ed Martin Trail Team's custom truck logo added. So we had that done at ZR Tactical in Noblesville, Indiana. As far as the winch goes, we use a Warn winch. This is the VR series. It is a 12,500 pound winch, and we do have it finished off with a Factor 55 1.5 inch fair lead, and we also have it finished off with a Factor 55 ultra hook. One cool thing about this truck is that as Dustin mentioned, it does have the factory lift done at the factory as opposed to the dealer. That saves a little bit of money because you don't have to pay the dealer to install it. However, you do not get the fog lights from the factory. They do delete that. And when the dealer installs the TRD lift, in this case it was done at the factory, Toyota does give the dealer the option to delete this, but we typically do leave it. But because it does have the factory lift installed, we do not get the OEM fog lights. So we wanted to have additional light, and we always want to stick with Baja lights or Rigid whenever we can. These particular lights are the XL80s. They are mounted with an SDHQ A-pillar bracket. We wanted to be very intentional about the way that we wanted our accessory lighting switched. We have a Red Arc Rogue that's controlling most of our switching for our accessories. However, we wanted the lights to be basically be something that you could reach without having to go into a menu setup. So to the left of the steering wheel, Toyota does give you 3 additional blank options. So we chose to use those 3 blanks for our additional light bars. So we have the ditch lights on the A-pillars, as well as the front light bar that's white. in the top of the grille, and also for the light bar, the amber Baja light bar on the bottom of the grille. So moving on to the side of the vehicle, we chose to go with the SLE rock sliders. We chose these for a couple of reasons. One, if you wanted to use an OEM solution, it's only available from the factory. So this is a C-channel mounted steel rock slider. It'll support the entire weight of the rocker panel, and it can also be used as a jacking point, but also as a dual function because it can be used as an actual side step as well. When you open up one of the side doors or unlock the vehicle, it is going to trigger the rock lights to turn on underneath the vehicle. We did go ahead and use a Shadow Reaper light. It's mounted to the frame, but it did not require any additional frame drilling. We used existing non-used bolt holes, and we made a custom bracket, so we're mounting to our bracket, and the bracket is mounted using the existing bolt holes that were already in the frame. So to tell you a little bit more about the sliders on this truck, I'll pass it over to Christos Lee.
Eric, yeah, you bought a lot of 200 series foam sliders from us. When the Tundra came out, and actually the Tundra that we bought from you, we got it back home and we started designing these. They formed out of 3/16 grade 50 steel, about 1.5 times as strong as regular A36, so they are fully functional. They're frame mounted, unlike traditional running boards that's just pretty much on the bottom of the body. So you can land the truck on that without damaging the truck. Anything can be bent, anything can be broken, but they are pretty strong. And then they have really grippy tread plates with that the metal is formed up so that, you know, snowy boots or ice conditions and stuff, you're still going to have proper grip getting in front and the back. We do pay particular attention that we try to get the position where you step correct with how to get into the car. And they came out really good on this truck. They're really very nice build. I wish I could do that with mine.
Thank you very much. So to make it as functional as possible as an overlanding vehicle, we decided to put a cap on the back of it. Again, this is a 5.5 foot bed Tundra, so we chose to use the RSI Smart Cap. This is the Evo Sport model, and it has a couple different accessories on it. The Sport model is going to get you the windows, the tinted windows in the back with privacy glass, also an opening rear window, and in both ways it'll pop up and also slide back to back. So if you're camping in it, you can get a little additional airflow and or light or privacy. And then on the other side, we have a full kitchenette that's pretty much all pre-done through our RSI. And we've made a couple modifications to make it a little bit more practical. Okay, so now that we're on the inside of the cab, we wanted it to be fully functional as an overlanding vehicle, or for anything that if you want to have your dogs on the inside of the vehicle, as you're maybe going on a hunting trip or whatever. We wanted to make sure that, you know, we could kind of reach all audiences with this truck, not too much, not too little. First and foremost, we have a solar connection. So the solar connection on the top is of the RCI or the RSI Smart Cap is a Red Arc 200 watt solar panel. It's connected, so it'll always be feeding the additional auxiliary battery. And then we also have an AirB air compressor, and this is actually our custom air compressor mount that we use. What we do is we take the inverter, the OEM inverter bracket that Toyota sells, OEM part number, and we buy one, and then we cut out the entire inverter section of it, and then we input a chuck for a quick fit connection on an ARB pump up kit, and then we have a custom piece of aluminum made by Zero Tactical that offsets it so that it looks 100% factory, but it is the actual ARB compressor, which is actually ran to the ARB twin air compressor, which is mounted behind on the inside of the cab behind the middle passenger in the rear, and that's using an SDHQ mount. Kind of moving down, we have a Red Arc control system. This is the TVMS Rogue. We chose to go with the Rogue, and we'll kind of go into this a little bit more detail as we go to the inside of the vehicle momentarily. But we went with the Rogue for a couple of reasons. We wanted to use a Manager 30 to manage our power. We have a massive Battle-Born 300 amp hour battery, and so we wanted to make sure that we were controlling it and utilizing the exact features that you may need, such as fuel sending or levels of your water, switching of course, but also managing your power, seeing how much power you have and how much runtime you have on the current load that's operating. So we did go with the TVMS Rogue as an add-on to the Manager 30. We did go with 2 screens so that we have one of these screens that's on the inside of the cab mounted via a ram ball on the A-pillar, and then we have another one that's mounted via ram ball and ram bar on a panel that we mounted to inside of the RSI Smart Cap. So we went with the ram solution because it's super durable, obviously, but it's also very modular, so that you can adjust it. So we designed this system with the ram bar, a 9-inch black anodized ram bar that's mounted to the side of the window on the inside of the cab. This can be slid around. It's a B-size ball. We can slide it around. We went to the aluminum ball just because we knew that this is the back of a truck can be a little bit bumpy. And then, so whether you're from the back of the vehicle or whether you're from the side of the vehicle, all you do is you can just untwist this right here and you can adjust it so you can access it from the rear or the side of the vehicle. So on the side of the car, on the driver's side, inner side of the bed, we have a Victory 4x4 MOLLE panel to attach our accessories. We have a ARB pump-up kit. This is the new version of the pump-up kit. It's made in Japan. It has 150 PSI maximum. It doesn't really tangle. It has heat resistance, so if it does touch something hot underneath the car or in the engine bay, it's not going to damage it at all. It's strapped here with just a Velcro strap on the MOLLE panel. And then next to that we have 2-gallon roto packs. We currently have empty gasoline in here now. Obviously Rotopax makes different colors, white for water, blue for kerosene, so on and so forth. So if you wanted to go on a short trip and not bring gasoline, you could bring fresh water, whatever. You have the ability to do anything that you want to do. It is mounted via an actual Rotopax OEM or a factory Rotopax mount that's attached to the steel or to the Victory 4x4 MOLLE panel. And then to the right of that, we have a, as seen on TV, scrunch hose. And again, this is fitted with a quick fit connector so that you can access this without having to climb inside the bed. If your bed's full of stuff or dirty, you may just want to grab this. So if you pop the window on the driver's side, you can reach in here, Velcro strap, and use this hose and just plug it in via a quick fit connection here. On the inside of the bed, towards the back of the cab, we have a 50-liter Alu-Cab water tank. We have modified this water tank somewhat. It is a fully pressurized system, but we modified it because we wanted to have access to the water via a quick fit connection, as shown right here, from the outside of the vehicle. To add water to it, you can still do that from the outside of the vehicle. You can reach in through the window and you have full access to the actual grommet right here to actually add water. And then underneath of the vehicle, we have a drain mechanism so that if you wanted to drain it for winterizing purposes or cleaning purposes, fresh water, whatever you need to do, you have full access to drain the vehicle without siphoning. You can just turn the ball valve underneath the car and you have full access to drain the water tank. And that water tank is specifically designed to kind of move towards the water, towards the inner portion of the cab, so you're not draining water on your feet. Again, this MOLLE panel that is on the rear of the vehicle is a custom MOLLE panel made by ZR Tactical Solutions in Noblesville, Indiana. Everything that you see here will be linked in the video descriptions below on the build sheet. This MOLLE panel is vital to securing the water tank. We have a custom securing bracket that's on the bottom that's powder coated in black behind here. The MOLLE panel covers it. There's plenty of room for additional accessories or anything that you need to bring along with you on your trips. This has plenty of room for that. We did decide to use a MaxTrax MK2 set so that the next owner will probably likely need to bring a set of traction boards with you, even if it's just for winter driving as a daily. We do have a pair of MK2s. The brackets that we're using are the actual MaxTrax brackets. And you can do 4 of them without changing any additional mounting hardware. This does support 2 or 4. On the roof of the RSI Smart Cab, on the inside, we do have a camp table. This is a stainless steel table. It is mounted to the roof. This is an actual RSI genuine accessory, so this actually is designed to mount here with an actual RSI mount. So this is going to be secure no matter what. We did make some additional modifications to this camper shell. We did add a 200 watts of solar on the roof. It is a red arc solar panel. And so we also mounted additional light strips on the inside. These are a dual color, red or white. You can, by default, the white will turn on, but it also is dimmable. So if you wanted to dim this down a little bit, all you do is press this switch right here on the red arc control panel, or this switch right here, and that'll turn it to a red for easier on your eyes and less bug attraction during the nighttime. One additional feature that I do want to highlight here is all Tundras SR5 trim level or higher via option package will come with a digital rear view camera and a bed cam, and that is mounted underneath of the brake light up towards the top of the back window. Obviously, with a cap shell on a vehicle, you are going to cover that, and rendering those two cameras useless. So we did come up with an idea to essentially utilize both cameras without just throwing those two features away. So what we did is we did extend the wiring from the back, and just to kind of finish off the overall look of the vehicle on the back, we do have an SR series trim level Tundra back plate that does not have the cameras, so that it still looks like, even if you did kind of look in between the camper and the cab, you are going to actually see a nice OEM piece that's going to keep it watertight, but also not make it look silly with cameras that are useless. So to use those cameras, what we have here is we had a custom aluminum bracket made by ZR Tactical. And basically what we're doing is we're extending the wires via an actual wiring harness. And I'll link that in the comments below as well. But this little piece of metal is going to, pointing outward through the glass on the back of it, is going to have the digital rear view mirror camera, which is going to allow you to, if your cab is full of something that is rendering visibility, you can still hit the button on the auto dimming mirror and turn it to digital, and you can utilize that camera still. So it's extended from the back of the cab to the back of the shell. And then also there's another camera that's pointing on the inside, which is located right here. And this camera is going to be your bed camera. So if you wanted to see, are the items in my cab shifting? Do I have my dogs with me or whatever? You can also see that from the screen on the dashboard via the factory camera. They are just extended out back, but instead of being pointed from the back in, it'll be pointed from the back this way. On the passenger side, again, we have another set of Victory 4x4 MOLLE panels, again attached via the bolts for the deck rail system. We have a couple things here that we want to mention. One being we have a power tank bracket. It's a quick connection bracket. We chose to use the power tank because it matches perfectly to this 9.3 pound Worthington propane tank, and obviously it just makes it a lot easier. Instead of using bungee straps, it's just a little bit more of a rugged industrial connection to the vehicle, so that it won't tip or turn over. We do have a pressure fill gauge located on the other side of the hose, and then also down here we have quick access towards the end of the bed for an H3R performance hail guard fire extinguisher. And one last thing on the passenger side is we do have the factory OEM power inverter. This is a 400 watt/100 watt inverter. This is independent of the 2000 watt red arc inverter that we're using on the inside, which we have extended out into this light strip right here. But this is totally independent of the accessory one that we added. So you do actually have redundant AC power from the car itself, or whether it's through our dual battery setup. So the kitchenette that comes with the RSI Smart Cap does come with this accessory MOLLE panel right here. We did go ahead and add a couple extra power ports. If you're going to be maybe sleeping in the vehicle or overlanding, you may want to have a little extra power to charge your devices, your drone or your cameras or whatever you have. So we did add 6 additional USB ports, and these are on-off activated right here on the button, so they're not live, always draining a little bit of power. 2 USB-Cs and a USB-A on both of them. So you have 4 USB-Cs and 2 USB-As additional located right here. So we have 2 additional fuse blocks that are mounted underneath the kitchenette. They're both Blue Cs. They're both unused currently. We just want to make sure that if you had an accessory, then you're not messing with the wiring that's already been done. So we have these additional fuse blocks to add additional accessories in the future. One is for constant and one is for ignition. But everything that you possibly could think of is already fuse blocked right here, ready for future accessories. And then just to make the vehicle a little bit easier for accessing, whether it's you or your dogs, if you're trying to get in and out of it, is we did use a factory bed rug, and not a factory in terms of Toyota, but the bed rug brand specific to this 2024 Toyota Tundra 5.5 foot bed truck. So moving on to the passenger side, the kitchenette of the RSI Smart Cap, we are going to go ahead and open up the rear window. And then we're going to pull out the actual grille. And so what we're going to do here is you pull out once, you pull out again. Now one thing, because this truck does have a lift on it in 35-inch tires, it is a little high. I'm 6'4". So it's a little high for even me. So what we've done is we bought a little stool on Amazon for $10 just to keep inside the cab. So you can kind of take a step up as you cook. If you're cooking next to the vehicle, you always would want to have the vehicle protected. So we did, we thought of that. So we did actually remove all the plastic trim pieces here and here. We sent it to Ray Hall Paint Protection in Carmel, Indiana, and we had a layer of Expel paint protection film added to this entire bedside. So to open the grille, all you do is it does have these little locking levers right here and here. And so you'll want to have them, they'll come locked so it doesn't fall out when you're driving. Push forward, and then the car is gonna, or then it'll unlock the grille, and it'll give you clearance to open your lid. And then you have these little grease splash guards that are gonna fold out here. And then it's a 2-burner solution. So you have two independent burners here, Ignite of course here. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it, and I'm gonna show you how to connect the propane. So this kitchenette is gonna come with the actual grill. And so what we do is the grill will come with this little lever right here for your propane tank. And then we have this custom hose extender. We didn't want to have to pull the propane tank outside the vehicle. So we wanted to make sure that it stays mounted inside. So there is a quick connection mounted from the propane tank inside to the actual smart cap here. Then once you have this grill opened up, then you have this connector here, which is just going to come in with via a quick fitting push in. This is going to actually attach to the grill right here. And we're just going to push that in like that, screw it down, and then you're good to go. Additional accessories that we've added to this kitchenette is the Lumibar here, which you can is a dual color. We do have a little rocker switch mounted inside the cab right here, and it is white or red. So if you reach your hand in here, little dual rocker switch, turn it on, off. Everything that you see here is pretty much included. It comes with the additional cups. It comes with your utensils as well as a tea kettle, some bowls, some pans, plates. All of that's included. Also some utensils for spatulas, spoons, ladles, tongs, as well as a knife sharpener. And one thing that it was kind of missing that we wanted to add was a fire extinguisher. So we added this Elements fire extinguisher right here, and we have attached that with the Elements bracket. One additional thing that comes with this kitchenette is it does have a cutting board as well. To go over the electrical and dual battery system, I want to let Scott, the electrician, go over all that.
What we've got here is our electrical. So we're going to start over here and kind of work our way this way, kind of explain what everything does, what we're doing with it. We're going to start with the red arc Manager 30. Basically, it's going to take our voltage from our front battery in the alternator and charge our auxiliary lithium battery. Plus, it's got shore power, so we can plug in and charge our lithium battery as well. And it also will connect into our red arc Rogue to give us how much we're actually charging the battery, controls our solar. So it'll tell us how much solar we're actually getting in, voltage and amperage wise. The next thing we have there is our Noco Genius. We've added that to charge the front battery. So if we go on extended stay, storage, whatever, we don't have to worry about our front battery being dead. If the shore power in the back's plugged in, that will charge the front battery, as well as when the Manager 30 is on, it's going to charge the lithium as well. Next we'll go to our SPI 212, which is going to handle our jump starting capability for the front battery. If it goes dead while we're out, for whatever reason we leave the key on, the battery goes dead, we'll still be good. We'll have cranking power. The next thing is going to be our constant power fuse box. We've got 4-gauge wire running into it. 100 amps is what we can have on that box. We're using the constant power to feed ignition relays for our ignition fuse boxes in the front and in the back. But then it also controls all our other items like our AirLift controller, our auto eject relay for the shore power, our rock lights, all that kind of stuff. Then we have our ignition power relay, our ignition power fuse box, which will handle our ignition sources for like our Manager 30, our Rogue, our rock lights. Then we'll go to our Rogue. So we've got a red arc Rogue here, completely solid state, all internal switching, so we don't have to worry about any kind of external switching. It's all done through the Rogue. Plus it connects in with our Manager 30 to kind of do all the analyzing for the battery and such. But then it also has it's got 2 outputs for water level. We're only using 1 for our water tank here, but it does have the option to do 2. It also has the option if you had some external switching you wanted to use. So let's say you wanted to put a switch in the back to turn on your rock lights, but didn't want to use the Rogue controller. You can actually just put a mechanical switch in there and use that as well. But it's really nice. Size-wise, it's a little smaller, so we can keep our footprint real small. So if you're limited on space, real nice for that. A little smaller than a Red Vision. So behind that, we have our AirLift controller for our airbags. So that's all wireless, dual path, so you can change each bag separately. So if you're carrying, like on this, we're carrying a little more weight on the passenger side with the kitchen. We can put a little more air in that to keep them level. That or when you load it, if you load more on one side or the other, we can always adjust for that. So that's there. And then we'll come over to basically our fusing here. These are all our fusing here. We've got our air compressor, our fuse box for the rear of the camper shell. We have a constant fuse box back there. Our Rogue, our Manager 30, our fuse box for the front constant, and then our SBI going over to connect whenever we connect our batteries together. Then we have our ground distribution, because all our grounds will come into here, and then run through the red arc to measure all our current coming going through the auxiliary battery. All that is done with 1/0 cable going to our grounds, going to our battery. All our feeds are 1/0, and then we'll go back to our 2000 watt red arc converter, all controlled with the Rogue, so you can turn it on and off with the Rogue. So we've got 110 wire going to the back into a 5 outlet strip. So we've got all that. So you've got power in the back. Then we'll go to the Dakota battery. So we're a 315 amp hour Dakota lithium. Like I said, with starting capabilities as well. So you can actually start the vehicle off this if need be. But really it's the most amp hours you can get in this size of battery that I know of. That's kind of why we went with this setup. Works really well. Then we actually have a hard cut off here, so we can actually kill power to everything. So if you wanted to shut everything off, kind of separate the truck from all the accessories, you just hit this kill switch and that kills that. We've also done a switch over here that will kill the rock lights as well. So if you're working on your car, you don't want the rock lights on when the doors are open. We hit this switch over here on the side and it'll kill all that. Our light to illuminate all this, it's all done off the doors. So as soon as you open the door, it'll illuminate, so you can work in here, if you need to. So if it's dark, you can see all your fusing, all that kind of stuff. Everything's labeled, so real easy to go, okay, the Manager 30 is not working. Well, let's check the Manager 30 fuse on, the ignition fuse and the constant fuse. Real easy to check. We've got the aluminum plate here that I designed just for be able to mount everything easily. We're not drilling into the car. We're using factory mount points. We've got a 200 watt panel on top, all quick disconnect, an IP68 connector, so all watertight, waterproof. The only thing we used the factory rails on top of the roof, so that can all be unbolted, taken off. If you wanted to put a tent on top and then mount the solar to the tent, super simple to do. That way you can still have the ability to do that as well. Here's all our buttons: rock lights, white lights, red lights. The white we can dim, so press and hold and it'll dim. Turn them back on. Our air compressor, our inverter power, our water pump power. We go down our USBs to turn on those USBs over there. Fridge will do the 12 volt battery link, so that will connect the 2 batteries together. And then if we're plugged into the shore power plug, so if it's lit up green, that's what it's doing. So So water tank, looks like we're a little under half full on our water. That one actually doesn't do anything. I'll get rid of that one. So if we go to the second screen, we'll actually have another water tank. This will give us voltage of the vehicle, voltage of the house battery.
Additional MOLLE panels for additional accessories inside the vehicle. We have the Victory 4x4 MOLLE panels on all 4 doors. On the dashboard, we have the Victory 4x4 dash accessory panel. And this is, we've done a couple modifications to the one that we have that you're looking at here. We did add a 9-inch Ram bar, which we like. We did buy the black anodized one from Ram. We like this one because it does make it a lot easier to kind of slide your accessories around versus just having them in the fixed positions that are the way that it's designed for. Also, the Victory dash accessory also has a place where you relocate the 12-volt outlet from the factory dash, and we like to replace that with a dual USB-C and USB-A outlet to have a little more functionality for a couple different accessories. And then also down in the center console, we did replace the wireless phone charger that comes with the Tundra, which is a 5-watt. We replaced it with a 10-watt, so it's got more power, it'll charge faster, but also it is a dual. So you can't have 2 large phones side by side. It does work with the iPhone 15 Max versions, so it'll also work with most Android models as well at 10 watts. And then also on the A-pillar, we have a second RedArc Red Vision or TVMS Rogue display screen. It is the exact same display screen that we have in the back of the vehicle. It is redundant in terms of you can see everything from this position. The reason we have 2 is because if you're inside the car and you want to adjust something, you may not want to get out of the car, and vice versa. If you're outside the vehicle, you may not want to get in the car to adjust any kind of switches. So we did reposition the order of a lot of these buttons. If you're sitting in the driver's seat, you're probably not going to turn the lights on in the rear smart cap. So we did like put those towards the bottom of the list on page 2, and then move like the air compressor or the battery linkage to the front screen. But all in all, it's the same thing with the buttons in a slightly different, more logical order based on the position that you're at. This is mounted with a Ram ball. Again, everything that we're using is Ram B size, the medium size, and it is using the existing bolt from the front grab handle, driver's seat. Cool thing about this location, although this is a fairly large display, it actually does not in any way obstruct any driver visibility at all. It is in the current position that it's in right now. And one more interior accessory that we did add on this is the OEM center console safe. You can use a key, or you can use a 3-digit code. It actually is really nice locking if you have anything that you have to keep secure. This is great. One of the key things about a Tundra center console is it is absolutely huge. So although you do lose a little bit of space adding the center console, you still have plenty of room on the side for additional items that you need to store in the center console. Okay. So what we're going to show you now is the maximum height of this vehicle. If you're concerned about going through like your garage or another drive-through or something like that, you may be worried. So right now the truck is currently exactly at a level rake with 5 pounds of PSI in the airbag. So we have 2 levels on the vehicle. One of them is just showing the rake of the vehicle, which is exactly level at 0. And then we also have Dustin's holding a tape measure up to the level that's coming off of the back of the truck. And we are sitting at exactly 80 inches currently. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add another 70 pounds of pressure to the rear airbags, taking it from 5 to 75. We want to do really 2 measurements. The height measurement, which is 80 from the center of the hub to the bottom of the wheel well, is 24. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add the 70 pounds of pressure to the airbags, and we're going to remeasure from the center well, and then the top should be about 1 inch in theory. Okay, and so one thing that we're going to monitor here is while we raise the vehicle, I'm going to go ahead and have 2 cameras rolling. One, just so see the overall lift of the truck as it increases. And then secondly, we're going to actually look at the level itself, just to kind of time exactly how long is it going to take to get to the extra inch lift and the extra 70 pounds of PSI on the tires. So go ahead and take it, the remote control, and we're going to go ahead and set it to 75. As you may notice, there are 3 presets on here, which I haven't set yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and manually click this 70 times till we get to 70 PSI on both sides, 75 rather. And we're gonna hit enter, 76. All right, so we are at 76 PSI now. Added about 4/10 of an inch in total rake. The height of the vehicle right now is just over 81 inches. About 81, yeah, 81 and a half or a little less. And then the distance from the center of the hub to the top of the wheel well is just over 75 inches. So did add a little bit more than 1 inch, going from 70 or from 5 to 70 PSI. And what we're gonna do is we'll also pull the air out of those airbags real quick. Again, if we had a preset for 5, we could use it. But since I didn't do that, I'm just gonna go ahead and press the button a few times, and then we'll hit enter, and then we'll watch the car go down in one screen, and on the other screen, we'll listen to the sound of the air compressing. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit enter. And there you have it. We are back to 80 inches on the vehicle, and we are back to a perfectly zero rake level vehicle.
Well, thank you so much for explaining everything on this truck, Eric. This is an absolutely incredible build. This is what gets us excited. This is our passion behind the Toyota brand. This is what really makes people want to go out and do everything they possibly can do with the nameplate they know and trust, with reliability, dependability, and capabilities. So as you can see, we've had a lot of fun with this. We put months of work into it. Eric did a whole lot of engineering behind this to make sure this vehicle is perfectly ready for any overland, any camping, any on-road, any off-road trip. If there's any ideas, anything that you think that we missed, or anything you guys would like to see added to this, please reach out to us. But click the link below. Please follow us for more content, and thank you so much for watching, guys.